Can you try?
This one in general, just to general, very well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Working hard is all the. They started construction. They did something, started something. Fully along. It's fully along. But it's very good. But maybe they still have a photo for that. Yes, right now they're probably on so it should be a big piece of about that. Gotta be honest, so Russians have this thing like just all the verbiage and done. Yeah, it was a lot of time. But just keeping the otherwise I'm coming in. Yeah. We have an article for you all. Oh. That's for sure. They're like they're constant. Just to So have recognition. What about you? No. Are we on live on the night?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes,
Ready to go?
we are ready.
We'll get started. We'll go to the Anaheim Public Employee Board meeting. Start with the roll call.
Board Member Baroldi.
Here.
Board Member Bala. Board Member Bala. Can you hear me? I see that he is here.
Waiting, we see him. We don't hear him. He's here.
Board Member Guyona.
Present.
Chair Madrano.
Present.
Board Member Abdul Rahman. I do not see him. I know he is going to participate. Vice Chair Seymour and Board Member Showalter are absent. We do have a quorum.
The public was given the opportunity to submit public comments electronically. For the record, we have received no public comments. First item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes of the September 23rd meeting. And I will motion to the minutes. Motion made by member Baroldi, second by member Guyona. Roll call.
Board Member Baroldi.
Aye.
Board Member Bala.
Aye.
Board Member Guyona.
Aye.
Chair Madrano.
Aye.
The vote is 4 ayes, 0 nays, 3 absent, not present. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, we have a presentation on power resource conservation from 1990 to 2020.
Yes,
Lee, who's going to do that?
I'm going to do it tonight. So thank you very much. This is actually going to be the last meeting for one of our executives here, Mr. Graham Ball. And as I was reflecting on his career, there's been so much that he's touched in the area of power resources that I thought I'd kind of walk through a little bit of history review of some of the things that he's done. So with that, we're going to start first with an understanding industry-wide of where the here we go. Of where the industry is going. And so this is an excerpt from a Black and Beach, which is a pretty prominent consulting firm, and they did a survey of a lot of different utility personnel, and they asked utility folks to identify what the area most challenging issues facing the electric industry. And as you can see here, a lot of it has to do with power resources. Some, of course, distribution, aging infrastructure, aging people, things of that nature. But as you see the percentages and areas that are highlighted in red, you notice that renewables, environmental regulation, energy storage, distributed resources, and then the markets, all of those things relate to power resources. So these are top of mind issues that the industry is dealing with. In terms of which technologies will be used to meet these clean energy goals, you can see that solar is really the product of choice today for the immediate term. And that's for many reasons. It's a lot more inexpensive than it used to be in the past. It's readily available. And so we have the highest percentage for solar as opposed to some of the other technologies. But there's still reliance on other things, whether it's wind, or battery storage is gaining momentum in terms of power resources, and we're looking at in the 10 years beyond that. What's interesting is utility personnel hydrogen resource like really help address power as clean technology, but it's really expensive. Not really market ready today. And so these are the things that kind of portend to what we'll be looking at in the future. If we start to look back at what the utility's done since 1990, we started with a peaking plant. So we had a 48 megawatt business center. And so this is one of the projects that was an early part of our portfolio. And you see Mr. Bowen there as one of the managers for this power plant. So early on in his career, of course, he came from a Navy background, so he was very familiar with power technologies, and so that really translated well to his leading that group and getting that asset to be very productive for us over the course of years. If we move on to 2005, we actually exited San Onofre, and that was a tough decision because San Onofre, of course, doesn't emit pollution necessarily, in Japan, but it took a lot of courage to kind of get us to the point where we realized that hey, we're going to be investing more in renewables. So do we really need to invest in what we're going to be repowering for San Onofre? And over the course, we can look back and say, yeah, 2020 hindsight, it made a lot of sense, and we saved ratepayers close to $109 million because of that decision. The grant was involved with that. Fast forward to 2012, and in power plant, another asset, and we just experienced how valuable that is this year when we're going through these rolling blackouts, these storms, and how the state uses this asset available to help integrate renewables when solar is dropping off the evening. So Grant and his team were involved with the power plant, continues to be today. Another thing that he was involved with is intermountain power. So this this is our second coal asset, our primary asset. In 2014, we entered into a second mandatory agreement. And what that does is it allows us to exit out of the project by 2027 so that we can meet compliance requirements, renewable goals, as well as give us the cost-effective resources until that time. Move to, again, in 2014, we entered into an agreement with the Bowerman Landfill Gas. This is a 20 megawatt project that helped us to meet a portion of our renewable portfolio standard, and it's been a very productive unit for us over the last 100 years. There's a picture of Graham in the middle there, like the groundbreaking. And then you see Brian has the hat on backwards, it looks like. There's like the first time I've ever thought of help. There you go. We'll hold it against them. Then we move on to 2016, and we're looking at a renewal of a contract with the government. This is our hugest asset that we have available. So Graham was involved with negotiating on that project. Also in 2016, we did a tour for QB. We went out to the San Antonio Pass, we did the wind turbines out there. And so that was a contract that was coming off of an Edison agreement. So we were able to go relatively inexpensively. That's something else that Graham and his team have done is look for assets to kind of fill gaps, meet compliance requirements, and help save money along the way. He's also championed transportation electrification. 2016, we started this low carbon fuel standard that gives us access to financial resources for us to be able to invest in electric technology, which helps reduce tailpipe emissions and starts to prepare us more for the future in terms of reducing emissions, investing in clean technology. Now, just recently, we helped 2 school districts start to transition their busing to electric vehicles. In addition to supplies and resources, there's also energy efficiency goals that have been established in 2017. We increased our goal from 1 to 1.1%. That shows that we're not only reducing the energy demand, but also reducing how much energy customers use as well. In 2018, Anaheim also agreed to a power purchase agreement for solar. This was the first direct plus index deal. What this does is this helps to mitigate flood of solar in the middle of the day by only charging for the asset itself without all the green attributes, without the volatility of the market pricing. And so it puts us in a better position to be more flexible and nimble when it comes to power resources. So that's something that he and his team negotiated along with the SCAPA, or Joint Action Agency. Then towards the end of 2018, Grant and his team helped us exit San Juan. This is our second core asset, megawatt ownership of that larger plant. And so making sure that we continue to divest from fossil fuels and invest in clean resources. Grant was very effective with his negotiations on that. In 2018, we also had the California Energy Commission approve the integrated resource plan. This was a comprehensive plan that identified how we're going to get to our clean energy goals, state mandates, and address affordability, reliability, and so we developed a Children for Schools program, and this program was an educational program that helped us to really work with schools, children, collect data, show kids how the data works. And in addition, we have these small assets that we have distributed throughout the city at various locations strategically, so we can still identify where solar can be beneficial. So we still own and maintain these things, which is a big help for schools who don't really have their own responsibilities. This next slide shows that Magnolia School District has utility for its investment in these programs. Following that, in 2020, we had a couple of contracts that were for biomass. So this is where Graham's team has been very good in turning lemons into lemonade. we don't like mandates that tell us what to buy because it does that really cycles the market and it reduces competition. But we had this compliance requirement that we had to meet. So Brandon's team did a really good job trying to find contracts that were the most cost effective for us and probably the least amount of pain. And that's what we did with that one. And just recently, we submitted a target for this board to see it was 50 megawatt full storage, and he's already progressing in terms of developing some preliminary documents so that we can start this process of energy storage. So there's a lot of things that Grant has done over the years, over this last close to 30 years, the way he's done with our portfolio. But he's also done a lot of other things. This is just an example of how he's reached out to the community and part of a lot of programs where he's helped seniors, he's helped qualified residents, support efficiency. And so he's done a lot to be out in the community, not just behind the desk working on our resources. This is an event called Big Give. This is Graham. He and his wife actually got out as his son shot. So Sean doesn't work at Graham. He looks like his son. So, but Graham's really given up his time and energy to support the city in a lot of different initiatives. This is another one where Graham was a mentor to high school students. Time every day for a number of years. We spent time helping kids part-time, build resumes, go through mock interviews. Graham's also been a great ambassador for the utility wherever he's been. So these are the events that he participated with our chair to recognize students and be able to do their water posters and get recognized for it. And so Graham was always willing to go out to these types of events. This is probably though my favorite of Graham's. We were at a public event about energy efficiency. Graham kind of takes these offers, like, what is he doing? Well, of course, we were British influence. So he takes time to help these kids learn how to play softball. Yeah. There we go. There we go. So that's one of my favorite videos of him. Because that's really going to show you the part. Yes, he worked at the business side of the U.S. utility. He's dealing with a $300 million a year portfolio. At the same time, he's out there with the community, really participating and working with them. So we want to congratulate Graham for his years of service, 27 with the city. You've seen the transformation of our portfolio over the years, and he's been behind it, in front of it, doing a lot of things for the benefit. So appreciate everything that he's done. And we do have a small token of our appreciation for Graham. This is actually one of the blades from Kramer Power Plant.
Very cool.
And so as Kramer Power Plant has been retired, Graham's going to take it with him, literally. And it's our way of saying thank you very much, Graham, for all your wonderful contributions.
Thank you very much. I'm chuffed. I've never, wow. I've got something to take home with me. It's a really tough moment for me. I've been here so long, and I've known everyone here, stable and around. Duke's mentorship as well has been inspirational to me. I think he's really led through utility and really helped me to grow. And my peers, my staff, and my friends, all of them, all been part of that. So I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. And forward, you guys have helped me, because without you guys saying yes to everything I've asked for, we wouldn't have this stuff. So, again, once again, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It really means the world to me. This will go up on my one wall that I have that has these kinds of things, and I will be looking back on this very fond. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I get a picture?
Stand up and for social distance.
All set? Good. All right.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3.
You're smiling. You're smiling. You're smiling. Thank you so much.
And Graham will be with us till November 12th.
Okay.
All right, and that's the conclusion of our presentation.
Next item, we have the adoption of the resolution. We have a resolution. Electing what includes revolving credit agreement with Wells Fargo. Great. Or Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Dugu. As you're well aware, we currently have an agreement with Wells Fargo for our current line of credit for $100 million. That line of credit is set to expire at the end of the calendar year. So we put out an RFP this summer for to review or to enter into a new agreement with another bank for the $100 million line of credit. This line of credit has served to augment our liquidity in order to help buttress our current AA- rating. If you've read our rating review, you've seen that they referenced it, something that is a credit positive to us, that in the case of emergency or some other catastrophe or major event, we have this line of credit available at our disposal. We have used it in the past in order to provide financing to get out of San Juan power plant at a cheaper rate than we were paying at the time. And we have it also available in any circumstance that we may need. Market manipulation or market event. This current line of credit that we're proposing, we also hope to use to provide bridge financing for groundwater treatment to help satisfy our PFAS problem that we're facing. What we'll be able to do with this is use this line of credit in order to pre-fund any capital investment that we may need for the groundwater treatment in anticipation of reimbursement from Orange County Water. So this provides us a lot of flexibility, a lot of optionality that we wouldn't have otherwise. Additionally, it allows us to not have significant cash reserves on hand that would require us to raise rates, to raise our cash balances significantly in order to have this flexibility. This allows us to keep our rates low with this insurance policy, if you will, on the back end. I want to kind of go over the terms of the agreement with you, to kind of show you what interest rates are at various levels, etc. Go to the next slide. There are two components of pricing for the line of credit. The first component is a commitment fee for anything we don't draw. The cap on the line of credit is $100 million. Under the agreement, if our rating is A- or above, our credit rating, if you recall, is AA-, so it's above that. Our commitment fee is 30 basis points or 0.3%. So that's capped at $300,000 a year if we don't draw. That's just kind of like a capacity charge, if you will, in the power market. This just allows us to have access to the line of credit, the fee Wells Fargo charges. The table below shows the interest rates that we would pay on anything we do draw. There's two different types of draws that we would have. A taxable draw, which would be anything that the IRS deems that investors would pay tax on the investment income they get from this. This would be if we entered into any kind of agreement with a private party or private use that isn't for the general public at large. A tax exempt draw, which is what we primarily would use it for, is the column on the right. So that's what I want to focus on. The terms of the agreement is we would pay 80% of LIBOR. LIBOR is a benchmark interest rate that's used around the world. It's a short-term interest rate. Right now, it's 0.15%. In the agreement, the floor is 0.25%. That's what I'm using for the math. So the agreement has a floor of 0.25%. So if we draw, we pay 80% of LIBOR plus then 0.7%. So 80% of 0.25 is 0.2% plus the 0.7, so we pay about 0.9% interest on any dollar we draw, okay? Obviously, you can see the interest rates would go up if our credit rating drops. This also kind of gives you a primer of what happens to our interest rates if our credit rating falls, kind of give you an idea of what the impact is. Thank you. If you go to the next slide. So this is some simple math I just put together in order to give an illustration. If we drew $30 million on the line of credit, we would have two payments we would have to make. 0.3% on what was available to us, and then that 0.9% on what we drew. So the fee would be $480,000. So the interest would be $480,000 on that amount, both the available amount and the amount we drew. What's interesting about this is if we draw $30 million, we're really only paying $180,000 more than we would otherwise. So really, the actual net interest is 0.6%, which is pretty significant. But I don't know if we can find that anywhere else. So I think from an operational or finance standpoint, this is something we really relied on, and it's something that we really would like to continue to have. It benefits our customers, it benefits us operationally, and it also will benefit us in the future by making sure that our interest rates on any borrowing remain low with credit ratings that are supported by the liquidity provided in this line of credit. The term is 3 years with Wells Fargo. The current agreement was 5 years. They didn't offer us 5 years. They just thought that was too long. So this term is 3 years. In the RFP, we got 5 responses. Wells Fargo was the best price. There were only 2 that were really responsive, Wells Fargo and US Bank. Wells Fargo was by far the winner on pricing. The agreement in the packet is in nearly final form. We're still negotiating a couple small legal items within the agreement, but the terms are set. The terms we saw, that you go to the previous slide, those terms will not change. So as this shows, those are the prices we'll pay. We're right now just kind of negotiating some final nits, if you will, in the agreement. And with that, I'm open for any questions that you may have.
Any questions, members of the board? Hearing none. Entertain a motion to approve. Approve the motion. Motion made by Member Baroli, second by Member Gaona. Roll call vote.
This is a roll call vote for item number 3. Board Member Abdul Rahman.
Aye.
Thank you. Board Member Baroldi.
Aye.
Board Member Bala.
Aye.
Board Member Guyona.
Aye.
Chair Madrano.
Aye.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent, not present. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the board status report on capital improvement project, actual agreements, general services agreement, and spot bid.
So this is our quarterly report that we provide to the board that runs down some of the pre-qualified contractors and our spot bid process. As you look at the report, it's been updated so it reflects the new fiscal year. So that's why the numbers are lower. The one thing that we mentioned to the board in the past is that our spot bid, use of our spot bid is declining. And the reason for that is because we started spot bids when commodity prices were extremely volatile. And so we couldn't get a set price over a period of time because the prices kept changing. So the vendors would no longer be able to say, the transformers are going to cost X dollars for a set amount. So as a result, we had to do shorter term spot bids for 10 transformers. So it was very helpful during that time period, but now prices are much more stable. And so the use of spot bids has, because it requires more effort and labor to put these bids together, evaluate all the terms. We're moving more toward master agreements, which would set the pricing over a period of time, and you can pull equipment when it's needed. So it's a little bit more of a just-in-time approach. So that's why you see the numbers going down significantly. We're still buying equipment. It's just through council-approved master agreements. With that, let me turn it over to Janet first to talk about those programs or capital projects.
Okay, for our capital improvement projects, you turn to our dashboard, in your packet, and under the electric capital improvement program, what I would expect to see is, we're in the first quarter of the year. So some of the things that we're looking at is our expenditures are reevaluated 25%. So we see a lot of that matches up with our current expenditures and our different programs. As you can see, we are 40% into our budget already. So a lot of some of this work is front-ended because we are currently in construction on the project. So that's where higher expenditures happen up front. As far as our detailed capital, transmission and distribution, you'll see that we're 82% through our budget there. And what that means is we've had multi-year projects. And so we are pretty much wrapping up to the end of those projects. That's why we're at the 82% mark. And we are on track to finish those at the end of the fiscal year. As far as underground conversion, we have the encumbrances of Beach Boulevard factored into there. We are currently working with Caltrans to receive our permits for the Beach Boulevard project. We have to go through an extensive review with Caltrans, and so we expect that to hopefully. I think it's hopefully. I don't know what to expect there actually, but we are diligently working with them to go through that peer review process. The others, they look pretty much in line as I would expect. Again, about 25% in expenditures for this first quarter. And then you'll see the back of that page, you'll see some of our projects featured, some of our LED projects you'll see there in the neighborhood that we work with neighborhood services and police and code enforcement there. That is the Cypress Street and Olive Streets street light improvement. Those are the colony lights that we're putting out, LED colony lights. And then the drone seat, they do that for that first. And also we are currently starting high fire zone neighborhood adjacent to Peter Canyon. So we have started that project and we expect to complete it by mid next year. The bottom is the Noel Village Direct Dairy Cable Project. I featured another DD cable project about 2 months ago. So we're really getting through some of these DD cable replacements. And again, great feedback. You can see the improvements of the streets and the customers are very happy with these improvements made. There's also the water side. Michael, would you like to speak to any of that?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple updates. One of the things I like to bring up is our Lene Water Treatment Plant project and highlight that. We have completed that work. That project is 100% complete, and we did our final walkthrough with the contractor, and that was a big success. We are planning to do some sort of ribbon cutting, a dedication ceremony post-COVID, or try and do something later, maybe in spring with the board. So that project is one that we have, which just recently completed in our capital improvement program. The other project I want to highlight that's highlighted in the report is our Linda Vista Complex project. That's a large pump station reservoir site that we have that we're upgrading. It's the phase 2 of that upgrade project. And with the COVID pandemic, we had a lot of delays in materials, especially some of our electrical switchgear and motor control centers. And so that team has worked diligently through this times of social distancing and the pandemic to find ways to stay on schedule. So that project's 50% complete, and it's our largest water supply facility that we have, and it's going to be key to get that project completed before we start our groundwater treatment program this next spring. So keeping that project going is really important to us. On some of the distribution system pipeline projects, I just want to highlight, using our master construction agreements, we have several pipelines projects that are getting ready to go out to bid this quarter. We don't have a lot that we've awarded, But we do have a lot of valve replacements, pipeline replacements that we plan to do in the near future using the master construction agreement method. And in November, we're going to be taking a new master construction agreement to the city council to allow us to do pipelines using the design build delivery method. And so we're excited about that to help accelerate even more deliveries, accelerate the delivery even faster for pipelines in our water distribution system. And that'll be something that we'll report with this quarterly report also in the future. That's all I have.
Vice members of the board. Hearing none, thank you. We move on to update on electric system issues.
Okay. Maybe so pull up some pictures here. So obviously, since Monday, we've been in the thick of several times in the area, particularly with Blue Ridge and Silverado fires on the news. Those general locations are on that map there. And I thought I'd show the board, pull up some of our pictures from the fire that we have. Of course, this is a fire camera that we have at one of our water facilities near East Ridge on Avenue Santiago. And it's not a great picture, I do have to say. It's because the fire, this is the Silverado fire that is over on the other side of the bridge. It is one of the closest cameras that we have in the area. But again, there's also cameras that are networked. And Edison did have some views, although I would have to say Irvine probably needs more fire cameras because there were a whole lot really capture the essence of that Silverado fire. To date, this is as of yesterday, we only had 5% contained. I believe I read they have it about 45%. Next slide, please. Now, this is the Blue Ridge fire in the Yorba Linda area. And this was really quite a picture for us. This is a fire camera that is up in those Yorba Linda hills, up on by the Metropolitan Water District site in the hills there. So what I did was a before and after type picture. That is a typical picture of the mountain ridge there from our fire cameras and what it looked like on Monday. Quite close and a lot of papers burned there. Again, at that point, yesterday, it was a 0% tank, and we had read 16%. So at this point, it's gone over the ridges. We don't see as much of the base of the fire, but our fire cameras came in very handy. So let me talk a little bit about what happened on our electric system. Because on Monday, we had several outages from Euclid. So we have heat storm, now we have the wind storm. Outages, we had one significant outage. It impacted not only the circuit, but we were able to switch and reroute power so that we impacted about 500 customers for a 4-hour period. So that's a significant outage. Those were wires down that were on San Antonio, and we did take our own crews 4 hours to make these repairs, and that was the most significant outage. The others, we did have an outage on Euclid, and that was some wires were entangled with each other, the neutral and the power wire, and what that caused was a surge surges to those homes, and but we did have our troubleshooter out there right away. They were already out there in the beginning of the day because we had already implemented on when we do the controls. We had already turned off the root closers on the circuits. So we had already implemented our wildfire mitigation. But this happened after we had controlled eucalyptus. And one of the residents alerted us to why we were entangled. It didn't spark anything. It just really, we had to do some switching because of minor power outage for eucalyptus folks. Then we had another outage that impacted customers. It was a circuit outage, impacted customers for about an hour. And that was a due tree fell on the lawns that was on a walnut circuit. that was out by the east, on Lakeview. And, so those were the three most significant, as you can see, windstorm compared to a heat storm, where we had 29 outages over 3 days, we had 4 for this windstorm.
I have 2 questions about the windstorm. One about Santa Ana Canyon, that outage. Is that, I know, from the undergrounding perspective, I believe we're undergrounding something in that area for the process. Is this the same area that's was impacted?
Yes. So we are currently in construction in the first phase and we're in the second phase. Well, actually, the past.
That's just temporary
Yeah.
inconvenience, obviously.
It is, it's unfortunate, I mean, of it, but it's that oil one, either side, it's better.
Stop. Regarding the tree falling, question about that. Was that a tree on a private residence falling into the ones?
It was. So that it's a difficult situation because it is huge. We have pictures of it. Should probably here, but it's private property. And it was a tree where we did have the line, we had trimmed it.
Yes.
It had been trimmed by our contractor. We did have clearances, but what happens is the tree grows above and a branch grows and fell onto the line.
So I had a neighbor approaching me recently from the south. He has a tree on his private property that's adjacent to a pole, and he called in to the city and they said, because he was making contact with the transfer. And he was told that they are not responsible, the city's not responsible for trimming that tree. It's his responsibility. And he asked me, and I gave him a couple of numbers to try. But I wasn't sure how to respond to that, so that was my question.
Yeah, so, so the response that, maybe received, was not correct. If there's something that's in the vicinity of town, then it's a safety of the aspect. So Janet has, contractors and public works actually administer that for us. So they do go and look at it. So, we've had, people call in and say, I've got, significant issues that kind of help. So we do look at that, but
That's possible.
Yeah.
And I think this one, it was a palm tree that was making contact with the so I just did not respond. So it was more of a,
so always feel free to let us know myself or Janet. That's, yeah, so the information that we received was,
well, I have to read that, what you guys have.
we would appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the next slide. Just wanted to give you a little update. We have finished our portion of the undergrounding through Euclid. And what we have remaining here is just to remove the poles after the telecommunications is completely undergrounding their portion of it, which we expect to be in spring of 2020. Digging has been completed, which we are very happy about that. It was a coordination effort with the City of Orange and with our Public Works Department, and so digging is complete. And just from all of the underground we have done on Euclid through the program, the entire stretch of Euclid now from north to the south city boundaries. The cost of this particular piece of underground was $12.5 million. We have about $3.5 million to go. Of that $12 million, we expended $9 million, and the $3.5 million left are to remove the poles and do some street lighting and some very small cleanup items. It did take us 2 years for construction, which is typical for an underground project. This one was tricky because of the magnitude of it, but we have that completed in 2 years. Next slide, please. Some of the feedback and some of the things and challenges with this project were most of the businesses along Euclid have only one driveway, one access. So when we're trenching, we have to make sure they're not blocking access to the business. So what we did was we shifted some of those points to the nighttime. Well, what that did was that led to some complaints on the noise. And so what we did is we tried to shift most of the heavy noise, the trenching, the jackhammers, the hammering, all of that. We tried to limit that to the hours of 6 to 10 p.m. And the complaints, noise complaints were mitigated that way. The last thing would be the traffic congestion on Euclid, since it only has 2 lanes on each side. So we worked with Public Works so that we adjust the timing of the street light. Let more cars pass so that they move right back up the street light and keep the traffic flowing. So those are some of the things we do for mitigating. We do depend on our customers to give us that feedback. What we'll do is also follow up with a survey. Now that the project is complete, after telecommunications is done and everything's going, we'll follow up with a survey just to get additional feedback from the customers and make improvements there. Our last slide. This is our before and after pictures. So you can see on the left, the lines on the sorry, that is the left side of the picture, and then the after picture. Some of you actually joined us for some of the casing, the boring underneath and the channels, and then working around the railroad track here. So happy to report that it is complete. Other things we're working on now is going to be done with eucalyptus and any questions?
I do.
Number one.
As far as the integrated, I'm sorry, Sol spoke about it. I'm a big fan of that. But are you guys gonna get going here some this Anaheim Boulevard and what is it, Harbor area? That one section there where you have there's like it used to be like well, there's an American Legion there on that area. I don't know if you know about Lennon Street. Yes. Well, there's some wire posts there. Are you guys gonna do something there?
We'll have a project in a 5-year plan that looks at that stretch. The reason why it's a little bit later in the plan, there's actually a lot of development that's also going on.
Right, yeah.
So we actually have a program where if the developer puts in the substructure, conduits and all that, then we'll do the electrical at that cost. So it's a real big win-win because we're not paying for the full construction of it, but our customers and the developer gets faster undergrounding and what's in the plan. So there's a couple of projects there that that is going to help accelerate that. But yeah, so when the whole district gets formed and everything, then that whole area, including from that.
Right, that was that perspective by some of the residents. Hey, when you guys gonna be that? Yes.
Yes.
I just have one comment about your traffic, where you guys handle traffic. It's, my wife drives down Euclid every day. And there's traffic, I mean, we expect it with construction, but it's nothing compared to what some other people do, like if you go down State College, that is not a way to approach a project. That is an absolute catastrophe. So you guys do a very good job making sure the traffic flows, I mean, there's no way around that. So thank you for that as a resident, for making it as least painful experience possible as opposed to what they do around State College.
That's a difficult project.
And the way they're handling it is just.
Your side.
Yeah.
Even though it's not, we have some water that you don't use it, but
Having gone through, I understand construction very well, whether it's whoever construction manager on that project, he or she is one, doing a phenomenal job.
And that's all I have, that's all I have to say.
Any other questions from the report? No questions. Thank you very much. We'll go to the next item. Water system, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore?
Michael, everyone.
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is water updates.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so for the updates, the first thing is I want to go over the water supply dashboard. There we go. The water supply dashboard shows that the storage levels in the state water project are continuing to drop. So we are entering into the end of we're entering the beginning of our rainy season, and we have zero precipitation here in Southern California and very light rainfall throughout the state. So we're hoping that picks up because the storage levels are still really low, both primarily in the state water project where we're importing water. As you guys know, our local groundwater basin, we're not pumping very much water from. That's why those levels are continuing to go up. But the forecast for the near future, as you can see in that bottom right-hand part of the dashboard, shows dry conditions that are forecast for the next several weeks. So hoping that turns around and we pick up precipitation here, because we primarily up in Northern California really need to improve our storage levels. You can go to the next one. The updates for I want to update on the wildfires and our wildfire readiness. As I mentioned last time, we got ready on the east side of our system and made sure all the fire hydrants are ready. But the other important part of our water system that's being used right now when these wildfires are Walnut Canyon Reservoir, as you can see here with the helicopter loading with water. And there's several different helicopters that have gone in there over the last couple of days and use it to load with water and drop on primarily the fire is up in Yorba Linda and the Chino Hills State Park. And here you can see a video of them dropping in. A lot of residents come around. I don't know if you can mute the video sound, but here you can see two are in there at the same time. A lot of residents go up around the walking trail and watch them do this. Those helicopters carry about a little bit over 2,000 gallons of water each, and that may sound like a lot of water. It's not a lot of water compared to the airplanes that carry them, and it works out to be in dollars. As Brian's always interested, because this is free water we're giving away. About $10 per helicopter per lift is what they're taking away there in water. Some of the other things that with the wildfire I just want to mention is we did get a mutual aid request to be ready to help provide backup generators and pumps in case Irvine Ranch Water District needed them. They end up not needing them, and so we always have a lot of resources that other agencies share with us. And likewise, if we ever needed equipment, we could borrow equipment through our mutual aid from these other agencies too. Much of our water right now, as you know, is coming from imported water from the Metropolitan Water District Deemer Treatment Plant. It is in the fire zone and right up there in the Chino Hills State Park above Yorba Linda. During the freeway complex fire, it was in danger of of evacuating and taking it offline. This time the fire did come close to it, but then the wind shifted it and shifted the fire away from the facility. They did go into emergency operations after the freeway complex fire. One of the things that happened there, even though the building didn't burn where they're at, the smoke inundated the building, and the operators couldn't operate the treatment plant and had to have special respirators brought in to keep water going into the system. So they've replaced that, and this time that new HVAC system did allow them to keep operating without any problems. And then lastly, with my updates, just want to show Peggy has there a trophy that we won from the Association of Metropolitan Water Agencies. They had the 2020 National Annual Conference last week, and they awarded the Sustainable Water Utility Management Award to us for the year. So we're very excited to have that. It was a big accolade for us to get that, to show the sustainability that we have, not only as a water, but as an overall utility, because the renewable portfolio we have on the energy was a big part of that, of us winning that award. And so a lot of people had their hands in that. The finance group did, our water resources group did. And I just want to thank everyone that had helped put in the time into that application to get that award. And that's all I have. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Questions on the board? No questions. Thank you, Mr. Moore. We'll move on to an update on financing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple items for you this evening. The first one, I want to give you a market snapshot. I'm sure a lot of people are watching the market right now and watching their personal portfolio whipsaw back and forth as the market continually goes up and down right now. What we're seeing is a lot of uncertainty regarding the spike of COVID, the lack of stimulus from the federal government, and a recess by the Senate without any kind of supplemental stimulus package to help support the local communities. So I think the market is responding to that. That doesn't affect us as much though in the bond market. We're not seeing any sort of upheaval whatsoever. Interest rates continue to remain very stable. In fact, today the 10-year treasuries didn't move. They're still 1.57%, which is our benchmark interest rate that we look at and see the stability of the bond market. What we are paying attention to is the election and how that's going to impact the bond markets. In 2016, with the election of the current president, the bond market, the interest rates spiked from November to December before they settled down. And they had a lot of volatility in 2008 with the election of Barack Obama over John McCain. Those are the last two instances of significant volatility during the election season in the bond market. So we have a lot of, not concerned, but we are very anxious about the election and how this bond market is going to respond. We don't have any knowledge one way or the other. We don't know how it's going to respond. Thankfully, we're not in the market. We have very little risk related to short-term interest rates. So really, from our standpoint, what are the long-term impacts to interest rates from both the COVID perspective, future stimulus, and the election. The good news for utilities is bond investors continue to support utilities. They're seen as a safe haven, something that's a necessity for communities. And so there's a lot of revenue stability with utilities, which is not like higher education, which has a lot of revenue instability. Transportation, like airports, turnpikes, toll roads, etc., are really soft right now. So you're seeing really poor ratings for those types of agencies and spiking of interest rates for those agencies. But utilities were very stable. Investors continue to flock to us. I recently spoke with 7 different investor groups last week regarding our credit, and they're all very positive, continually willing to invest in us. So that gives us a lot of confidence going forward. That regardless what happens with the pandemic, with the election, with the economy, that our credit is seen as somewhere to invest as a safe haven, if you will, for investors. Secondly, I want to talk about the dashboard a little bit. There's not a lot to discuss really, considering all that's going on. If you turn to the electric portion, the purple portion, you'll see our revenue is quite stable, which is surprising, continues to be surprising. It's continually supported by our wholesale sales. I don't know what we're going to do with Grandma Tires because he's supporting this whole operation. Right? That they're selling more power than we can people can use. So with the softness in our retail sales, especially with the shutdown at the resort, our wholesale sales are continually keeping our revenue numbers, our top line numbers up. As you can see, we're actually above budget on our revenue, which is not something I would have predicted 6 months ago. So I think that's, sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. I think this is one of those circumstances. Costs, we continue to be below our budgeted costs. That's just vacancies that we're not filling, to cutbacks in anticipation of revenue softness through the balance of the fiscal year. We do anticipate that these revenue numbers will not be at budget. We do anticipate they'll fall below budget as we go through the winter with continued resort area shutdowns. If you go to water, kind of a story that you would expect more on the electric side. Our water sales are soft because of the pandemic shutdown. So that's something that we would have expected. But we additionally have less cost than we thought we would do. So on a net basis, we're only net negative $500,000, which it's not something that can continue, obviously, but it's something that is not that concerning in the short run. So we'll continue to look for cost savings and measures to mitigate our revenue shortfall. With that, I'm going to answer any questions for you.
Questions from the board? Let me just ask, how are our ratepayers doing? Additional main bills or we have?
So, yeah, it's funny. Our commercial industrial repairs is fine, actually, which is surprising. Our residential customers, we are seeing receivables pick up, as you would imagine. Our age receivables, especially, that's receivables that are more than 60 days past due, have reached a level that I haven't seen right now. It's at about $2 million is owed to us residential customers that are more than 60 days past due. So every month we set money aside as a bad debt reserve that's equal to the amount we have, equal to what people owe more than 60 days. And so that's what we set aside for bad debt, assuming these people won't be able to pay. It's not saying they won't. We just have to prepare that they won't. So we continue to work with them, we continue to offer them all the assistance that we currently offer, but without any further stimulus, that's gonna run out. So, and as we are precluded from disconnections from customers, we will continue to see that number increase. I have every confidence that our customers will be able to work it out. In the recession of 2008, we saw something similar, and with payment plans and other help that we had available, most of our customers were able to work it out. We did not see a market increase in our write-ups. It all depends on when we can return to disconnections, because that's really the impetus for people to pay their bill.
Any questions from the board?
It's going to be very interesting going into next year. We're going to continue not working businesses not open, things of that nature. How long will this go before it starts to take its toll? So far, the story that we heard from Brian is we're okay. We're kind of treading water. But long term, we will go spring and summer, and these conditions persist, and we are going to start to see something perhaps a little bit more dramatic. So we're monitoring that very closely. Obviously the counter is we can just connect power and water, but really there's no utilities in the state, certainly, and even in many parts of the country that are not doing that because of what's going on. So we're trying to be very mindful that our customers are struggling. We do have the emergency assistance program. We have the low-income federal assistance monies, and so we are making funds available to help supplement them. But the longer this goes, the harder it is to bridge that.
On a percentage basis, is it single digit percentages of people that are behind, or is it more significant?
What was that?
From a percentage of ratepayers, not a dollar value. Is it
Well, our baseline usually about 25% of our customers are at some level of distress typically in a typical year. Right now, we're seeing upwards of 40 to 45% are at some level of distress where they're loading to a point that a late charge, or their payment plans, there's extensions, et cetera. So it's a significant portion of our customers are experiencing some level of distress. But we do have a baseline of about 25%.
that answers it? It's somewhere between 15 and 20%.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Next time on the agenda, we are looking at powers of right to promote.
So as Brian alluded to, the files applied for this month is probably about the same as what it was last month in terms of how we're doing. I can tell you that outages for the month for our major units were relatively low. We did have one major outage on our Magnolia power plant, which was about 10 gigawatt hours, and that's quite a considerable amount of energy we lost there. However, we did make that back up with the wholesale sale, our other generation of Canyon power plant. I'll get to that in a minute, because as you know, Canyon did have an outage. We did plan for it, so we were able to work through September, not still operate the unit, and then go into October for an outage. There was a small decrease in renewable generation. We didn't quite hit our forecast there, largely because of the wind. At that point in time, we were because of biofuels. But overall, still performing what we expected to be for summer. We've got hot days, a little bit less than normal. Conventional generation, same story. Again, Canyon, we did help carry the day along with IPP for the most part. During the month of September, we operated those things more than we operated them last year. So, in fact, we actually operated Canyon 1,200 hours in September, and previously we only operated about 1,000 hours. So we did operate much in September this month because of the holiday. Okay, and also purchases as well. There were some times when the market was really low in the evening, so we took advantage of that and actually purchased power and shut our units down. So that really did help us a lot. We just a little bit about 4%, it's still considerable amount of energy to think about it. In terms of wholesale sales, yes, we did. We continue to sell more into the market, which is good, because we're going to need these 3 months we've been doing this for later on. And one of the things that we found with Canyon, if you do the Canyon over the summer months, when it's operated, particularly this month, every summer month, it's grossed about $10 million in revenue for us overall. But when you net gas out, things like that, it'll be a lot less. But just to let you know, that's how much it operated in those 3 months. Turning over to the resource mix itself, yeah, largely the same for the most part. Like I said, the reading the wind that didn't produce as much as we expected because of the months, but other than that, it's been about the same. And the average cost of energy, prices, spot prices come down a little bit from last month, so it's back where we expect it to be, close to the end of the resource price. And that's about it for the resources. So, Peggy, before we go for any questions on the resources, for mine. Okay, Peggy, would you go to Canyon? Okay, a little bit about Canyon power plant and repair. So one of the things I wanted to point out here is there are 4 units, and the very top one, as you can see, is Unit 1. The very bottom is Unit 4. So I'm going to talk about Unit 4, which is what we have now. We'll go to the next slide. So essentially on this October 13th, we went ahead in the evening, took the unit out of service, we pulled that unit out of the module. And this is it coming out of the module right there, as you can see on the left-hand side of the evening. It's about 16 volts that holds that unit in place from going anywhere. So really big bolts holding that unit down. It's really quick to bring the unit out in terms of disconnecting. Now it takes a couple of hours to get that unit out of the module. To the right is the actual unit itself, and you can just see there's a couple of red arrows pointing downwards, and those are where the air oil seals were the issues with the unit itself. So when that unit goes to depot, we're going to pull that off, we're going to lift the top of that unit, and we're going to fix the air oil seals. That's what happened over the course of the 10 days. The unit was actually driven to Bakersfield, where the facility was, depot level facility takes care of this unit. Okay, fast forward if you would, thank you. And that's it, leaving the facility on the truck. It's put in the very special plate, insulated for noise and for vibrations. And that is taken out to the facility. And that's it on its way. Next slide. Okay, I'll talk about this in a second. So bringing it back, just want to mention that really quickly. We brought it back on the 23rd of October, 10 days for the outage overall. And what you saw, reverse the process. Take it aside, turn it in, stick it in, and it's back in service relatively quickly. We actually had no issues with this. We ran the unit when we brought it back in, and the unit is now back in service. 10 days out, back in service, and we're operating. Okay, any questions on the outage? All right, so we'll turn to a couple of other things we had going on during the last few months. So one of them was the face mask competition. Given the COVID pandemic, wearing a face mask becoming part of everyday life. So what we wanted to do was use this as a blank canvas for students to try and help brighten everybody's day by putting messages on these, positive messages on these face masks. So we asked for students to think about sustainability, and we looked at students from first grade all the way to 8th grade. And we looked at 3 areas. First was Anaheim's sustainable future, every drop counts, which is water, and then being sustainable. And we had a total of 71 entries altogether from Anaheim Elementary and junior high schools. And the apart from the notoriety, in fact, can go to the next slide. They get to get an electric solar power vehicle as part of that to take home with them. So this is Ernesto Lopez, 5th grade, Orange Grove Elementary, and he was the winner in the Anaheim Sustainable Future, the importance of energy savings. So pretty cool there. Next one. And Yoxin Quintaro, 4th grade, on Edison Elementary, and this every drop counts picture. And one more. Mark Whitcomb in 8th grade, Prince of Peace Lutheran. So be sustainable. Go green, give lives. So pretty cool. They'll be on the masks, and we'll be handing those masks out to students as well as part of this whole process. And they'll also get as well $50 gift cards. So they're all going to get cards. Pretty cool. Okay. Next was electric drive week that took place September 26th. So we asked we want to raise awareness of electric vehicles. So we asked people to submit 30-second videos on why they like driving EVs, what's the value of it to them. So we had about 18 submissions in total, And I'm gonna show you the third place, second place, and the first place. So you roll the tape. And Larry.
And many others.
Thanks to the city of Anaheim for their incentives to track it. And that was David Hope, his wife. Next is the second place winner.
So what do I love about my plug-in electric hybrid vehicle? Well, it's the amount of money I'm saving, of course. I drive a lot, almost 30,000 miles a year. The SUV I have is costing me about $200 a week in gas. It was over $10,000 a year in gas alone. Now I plug in a few times each week for electricity. It costs a couple of bucks. Gas once a month, 15 to 20 bucks. It's less than $1,000 a year instead of 10,000. And check out that mileage. And I get a carpool sticker now too. I mean, come on, what's not to love?
Okay, that was Shane Faze, winning second place. And the first place video, Peggy Roll.
I love being an electric vehicle owner. The best thing about owning an EV is being able to do my part to preserve the environment, protect my community. Anaheim makes it so easy. And at the end of the day, it's fast, simple, and cheap to recharge. Just plug it in. No lines. So let's do our part, Anaheim.
So I would like this guy to promote the videos that I have. It's really good. It looked really professional. So that's Matt, and he took first place. There are actually some other videos, and we're going to be showcasing those throughout the year. There's some really cool ones. There's one girl, a little girl with mother, and they had a whole bunch of dollars, threw them up in the air to show up the same. It's a really creative bunch of videos from these folks. So really appreciate that, and well done to all. And with that, that would be my final sign off with regards to the council job.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Now we'll go to the next item. An update on enterprise risk and compliance. Weaver?
Chairman, good afternoon. I do have a few items that I have to review on this afternoon. In your package is the quarterly wholesale energy expansion program. And I'd like to point out this report confirms that all wholesale energy transactions were within the program requirements. There were no violations. Great news. It's a lot of hard work from everyone involved. Also in your packet is the internal compliance plan. All programs were compliant and there were no violations in the period either. I would like to highlight that the annual water loss audit was submitted to the California Department of Water Resources. It looks like we have less than 1% of real loss, water loss, which is great news. And the annual anti-market manipulation training was completed by all participants, all staff members. We didn't touch the energy transaction program, about 30 staff members on this. On the legislative side, next month, we'll provide you a legislative update. We wanted to wait to after the election so we can do a better forecast of vacancy for the next year's goal. And that's really going to be moving to the national election. As a reminder, it was kind of a slow year this year for the utilities, but we did have a couple of wins on the other side. The Senator Morlock's bill that kind of affirmed the way that we charge for fire hydrants. We had a lawsuit pending against us, and so we had the other voters that should help set a precedent for when we are charging water rates for fresh pay. And also, AB 2560 passed, and none of that bill is clear, transparent requirements for how notification levels are set for certain types of water contaminants, like PFAS, PFOS. I think Microsoft is strong. So that bill is in place, a very clear, logical process for how those contaminants are identified and brought up in the scientific standard of practice. So that will help us in the future to get better foresight into, okay, here's the contaminant that we looked at, and then we start looking at it too in planning. and that will help, I think, in the future, not to have something, to go do something similar to what we have to color. And really good news that I wanted to end with, and I forgot to bring our trophy, but I wanted to share with you that the National Safety Council gave us an Industry Leaders Award for the electric service division for their safety statistics and their safety effort for the past year. Great news, nice trophy. Been trying to down, and we're going to have some good news with that. Congratulations, Janet, you did that. I'm really proud of that. It's a national award. There were 36 winners nationwide. I think Water was one of them. 80 farmers and others. So we're really good. Really big time.
Questions from the board? Thank you. Next item, we have item by secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have some items planned for next month. We have a water reliability presentation. This is our annual report on how we've done water system performance. We have an underground inspection report. So we do a system-wide inspection periodically, and so this would be the contract for that. We'd also like to set a public hearing date for water rates and rules pertaining to utility bill reductions on the rules. And for water rates, as you know, it's not the most pleasant thing that we have to do, but because we're spending so much more for important water, it's very important for us to cost for service agency. And so we will be setting the date, and then the following month, Brian is going to be providing a full deep dive into what exactly is costing and chance for the community to understand it ahead of the January. In terms of additional awards, not only did Janice and Janet get one, Michael got one, but our communications team also got some awards. So this is the American Public Power Association. They represent about 2,000 municipal and public power utilities throughout the nation, and they have the communication awards. So this is the first one, Award of Excellence for the Clean Green Community webpage, and so our communication group worked closely with Graham and his team to identify a very simple way for people to understand the benefits of a clean, sustainable city and utility, but also remind people that reliability and affordability are part of that equation as well. Next one, another one in Graham's area. This is the greenhouse gas reduction plan that we did that the board saw, and so for print and digital media, we received the that. And then the last one is another award we prepared for fraud PSA. So this is on our website, and it's a simple cartoon just to remind people that if you get a call saying that it's us, don't trust it, make sure to give us a call. So that it's very well received. So congratulations to Melissa Seidman and our communications team for putting these together and getting these through. Last thing I wanted to bring up to and mention to the board. Often we talk about how we impact the community in terms of our residents, people who live here. We don't talk a whole lot about businesses. And so I wanted to share an email that we received from North South Beverage. This is one of our largest customers in terms of both electricity and water. And they're actually located not too far from the American Legion that Mr. Bowman mentioned, in that area right there. Right up to 91 and 11. And so they are in the midst of getting a new customer. And so they do bottling and they have their own brands that they bottle. They also bottle things like Powerade and everything for others. And so their water quality is extremely important. So just recently we went from, of course, the groundwater to the imported water. Well, that changes things on their end too. So they need a lot of information, and so Michael and his team worked very closely with them, and they wrote a very nice email. Michael, you are awesome. Thank you for pulling all the reports together. This is a huge help for NorCal's budding relationship with their major customer. The NorCal team greatly appreciates your efforts in providing us our requested information in regards from their environmental health and safety percent and NorCal vendors. So, we want to make sure that we address all of our customer residents. Of course, there are businesses we need to be competitive here in Anaheim in order to compete with people from all over the place. And document to show that we're testing our efforts to help with both sides of it. With that, any questions that are made?
Questions from members of the board? And hearing none, thank you. We'll now move on to items of board members. I'll ask, Member Duramana.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, actually, I plan to attend this meeting in person, but unfortunately, I have a personal issue. I couldn't come there because of my daughter. I have to help her for something. And mainly, my purpose is to come to the meeting and meet with Graham. And just want to say a few words about Graham. You are an amazing person to know and work with. I just wanted to say thank you from my bottom of my heart. And really, you made a difference in this department. And finally, I want to say that wish you happy retirement. This is only one thing I want to say. Thank you, Graham.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Bala.
Yeah, I just want to echo Mr. Abdurrahman's sentiments. Graham, thank you for everything that you brought. And we saw quick reel of that. Part of that, a lot of that was done before I knew anything about the utility. And thank you for your contributions. It's been a pleasure being in your presence and seeing you do what you've done. Good luck with everything. And thank you once again. That's all.
Member Rowley.
Saying thank you for 27 years of service. And I think in the email from Euclid, it said you're going to go dedicate time helping young STEM students. I am, yes. I think it's important people like you that have so much experience do that, so that you can replace yourself and other people at the table. So great job. Thank you and good luck. And don't be a stranger. I put you back in here for a couple more years. Everyone else is good.
Member Donna.
Just 3 quick items. Number 1, Graham, thank you so very much for so many great years and customers, our residents, and your leadership style. You'll be hard to replace. I only wish that I could have met you earlier, but I just want to say the little time that I've known you, you're an amazing person, great leader. The city's gonna really hurt, but we'll get through it. We'll be fine. But I just want to say thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart and the residents as well. And item number 2, I have to give kudos to Ms. Peggy. I called her and there was a safety issue with the corner of Franklin and Euclid. One of our light poles, our flags, was flying like crazy. And I go, oh, it's gonna get somebody. So I gave her a call and thank you, Peggy. It was done quickly, no issues. Next thing you know, I leave my house again to go see if it's still there, and it was already fixed. So Peggy, thank you for taking care of that. I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I was just concerned for safety because you have no accident or just anything. That was my first concern.
She did that herself, though.
Should I know something? But I just want to say I wanted to just give you kudos and thank you so very much for taking care of that for me. And I can't hold myself back, but I gotta say, go Dodgers! Yes. I had to do that. Other than that,
Move on to the next one.
So thank you.
I'm gonna go back.
I actually rooted for Boston.
And for myself, being on the board for 5 years, it is very daunting, it's overwhelming when you come in here. But all of you have made serving here a lot of fun. But I must say, it's of all you've been the most fun. We took the field trip up to the Yellowstone, so we learned a lot. We learned a lot. It was good just to be a new board member. I explored this massive monumental place where, just really trying to put our head around that. I also enjoyed going to the game with the kids. That was a lot of fun. That was really neat to represent all the children. They stood there, big old smile, but they see, and they're looking at their face of this giant board up there, looking at themselves, like they're, you know, all proud of their artwork. That was really a lot of fun. So I must say, everything that you just make it so much work coming in here and make it a lot of fun. So I want to, thank you. Congratulations for your retirement. Thank you for all the work that you've done with us. We will be missed. We appreciate that. Enjoy yourself. I see it as also. Don't be a stranger. Come on by. Come and say hi. I will let you come and hit public comments. So many. Unless it's a hearing. Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by member Burley, seconded by member Gaona. Can we have a roll call vote for adjournment?
This is a roll call vote for item number 12. Board member Abdul Rahman,
Aye.
board member Baraldi,
Aye.
board member Bala,
Aye.
board member Diona,
Aye.
Chair Madrano.
Aye.
Vote is 5 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent, not present. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.
Adjourn.
Something I don't know just to make it.
I've always wondered if you ever have a majority of people that would vote no on adjournment. Any governing body or anything?
Thank you to all.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I'm sure.